Welcome back, everybody. Shit is tense. Things are getting real. Disrespectful ass elves. Humans getting all angry about stuff. Oh my god. All right, so let's talk about the situation. So, all right. So because Octavian's character, because Colin's character Octavian has the your grace trait, all that stuff that Colin said under human law is true. He is allowed to demand satisfaction for being disrespected thusly. So legally, technically, Saba Encia is being disrespectful. So, Octavian's not being a total douchebag here. But also, Saba is like several hundred years old. And, there's some laws that
And
perhaps existed longer than human civilization
I'm an
did.
etharch. Like I
Yes.
am a noble as
And you're an
well.
elven noble. So, yes. So what's interesting here then is I guess what the two of you as players want to do. So I guess the thing is right is like you can look at your character's beliefs, like your instincts, like your traits. That obviously will help you decide what you want to do in this immediate situation. I'm good going wherever. If you want to fight each other, fucking rip it up. I don't care. Do it. I'm not invested in any way. So, um, how what are you feeling, Colin and Andrew as players here?
Like I'm ready to go. Like if it has to go down, I'm ready. But like I feel like I need to at least once more invoke the sort of like agreement we have and had previously about her assistance,
Yeah,
which in Octavian's mind was like more than uh, sort of like generous, given the fact that I won the Duel of Wits.
yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like let's review the duel of wits. The agreement of the duel of wits was that Uh, Saba and Octavian agree to a military coup of the Plains clan. That's going to happen, but some lesser customs may be preserved so long as they don't threaten the new regime. That was what we agreed on that thing. So we can handle this a couple of ways mechanically too, right? Like you can both just agree. Like Andrew, for example, you could agree like, okay, maybe I will just like all back down. Or Octavian, you could agree to back down. You could just be like, well, fuck it. Like, whatever. We'll deal with this later. That's a thing you could both do. And we don't have to roll dice or anything. We could also make a roll be involved. So, like, Octavian, you could, like, persuade or command Sabencia, like, listen, I'm in charge of you. So fucking do what you're told. In which case, Andrew, it's up to you, I think, to decide whether that's, like, a like, if it's possible to be commanded in that way. If so, then we could roll and see what that does. It'd be a pretty good roll because what's your will, Sabencia?
My will's not that high because I gratiated it, right? So my
Yes.
will is only three. It's grade
Right.
3
And Octavian, you've got a command of like 6 or something.
million.
I think it's like 8.
Yeah, 8.
I,
Okay.
let me.
It's severe. It's a
Some
very high
absurd
command.
number.
Yeah, you are a military commander first and foremost.
And I mean, yeah, like if he just wants to try to command me to do it,
Mhm.
like that's fine. I can just go all venomous on him. Just be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Alternately, we can go more straight to if you think that there's a belief or something at play here. Like there's obviously a trait at play, but if we think it's worth it, we can go to a duel of wits where we can say like, listen, if you're going to be around, this is how we're gonna operate,
I
right?
think for Saba, it's not about what it's about. It's about the broader picture, right? Of like, I'm trying to help you. I'm laying out this whole way for you to just like do this thing cleanly, and you're insisting on all of this like petty, prideful
I
bullshit,
love
of which your grace is like the cherry on top of the.
Yeah.
right, but the inverse, the interesting thing, the inverse here though, is that Sabencia, all you have to do to make him stop doing that is just call him your grace. Just do it. Just be like,
Well,
yes.
no, it's not going to make him stop all the other stuff,
No, of course it won't.
right? So I'm choosing this as like a place to push because I
Okay.
know that his name is his name, and he can't tolerate that.
Yep.
So I can like lean on him here, but
Well,
That was
okay.
just
I also want to give Jess and Suzanne an opportunity to step in too, because either of you can like pipe up and be like, "Hey, there are more important things," and you could say something or roll to make both of them get distracted if you think that's a thing worth doing.
And like the fact that he went to his sword, it's like, in Westerns when the hand is at the gun, like it's that severe. It's just like, oh, he's about to kill someone. So that might change the tone. Like Bernard was all like, yeah, call him your majesty, you stupid elf. But I don't know. Maybe it gets different when swords get involved.
Well, I at the same time, having an elf.
Suzanne, your mic is pointed at the ceiling.
Sorry.
Yes, we can still hear you. Just use how much
yeah,
nicer
it's not
it
as
is.
well. Sorry.
There we go.
Having an elf as a part of our party in Octavian's inner circle is, from Bernard's point of view, definitely in our favor. I mean, it's a pretty elves are already becoming more rare now, right? But they're still recognized as, really cool old races that made beautiful, intelligent, smart things, and it's something that humans don't quite have yet. So having him around, having Saba and Sia around, is definitely, we want that.
Yep.
Octavian probably forgot because he got distracted by his reflection, but but he still does want it.
Yeah. Okay. And Jess, what about you?
Source of-
What do you think? Because you've got a belief about words and axes, right? Where you're like, maybe we should talk this out, but maybe it's time to do you want to step in? Do you want to say something, or do you want to just let these two figure out where it goes for now?
I think Gretelin is starting to feel like we've been here a while, and if we don't move on, I can't make the stuff I want to make, and why are we still here? And let's just get this woman in power so we can get out of here. And obviously I want everyone to live, everyone being the four of us, so we can get out of here. And I think in Gretelin's mind, Octavian is probably more important. In the grand scheme of things,
I'm the human.
She's convinced that even though he's a baby, he is supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
you have to get involved in order to.
Well, so I guess that's where we fade back in, right? Is Octavian looking angry, hand on sword, Saba looking down at him imperiously, and the two of you kind of nearby. I guess what's the next thing that happens? What happens next?
Are you guys just kind of deadlocked?
Well, I'll make a pithy rejoinder.
Ooh.
So, yeah, Saba just says, a king who turns his sword on his own people will soon find himself without a kingdom or without a head.
Elf, what defines my own people is something you are far from understanding. Do we not have an accord that was previously made? Have you forgotten entirely?
I am helping you. And I like
The terms of our agreement did not involve you ordaining the strategy involved in our goal. It was merely that you would help me in achieving mine.
Well, I am inquiring as to the specific nature of your goal, because if it is to effectively enact a coup, then I am offering advice on how to proceed. And if the goal is to add another tale of your glory in battle, I can help with that as well, but I have been misled as to your intentions in that case. All I ask is that you be clear with me, as I am being clear with you.
Bernard sort of bustles in, not in between them, but closer to in between them, staying definitely out of range of any swords, but and looks Saba and Sia in the eye as he addresses Octavian. I'm pretty sure this is clearly down to a misunderstanding between our two magnificent parties. Clearly it is time. The time has come for this grand coup to be put into action. We've all been organizing it for weeks. I myself was one of the foremost doing the organizing, and it's time now for us to conjoin in our battle plan and move forward. Shall we not do it? Eh?
I mean, it sounds like you're making an attempt to persuade the two of them to like just chill the fuck out.
Pretty much.
That or soothing platitudes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm actually not sure which one it is. I want it to be persuasion.
It sounds more like persuasion, right? Because you weren't being like overly flattering. You weren't like, you were just like, look, here's how it is. Okay, well, so Octavian, I guess this is the question. Octavian and Saba and Sia, is it possible for Bernard to like distract the two of you long enough to like kind of seize control of the momentum of things?
I mean, Saba's all for us like going and doing stuff. She just is always trying to push Octavian to do things in smart ways that aren't shitty. So
it's really hard.
I think.
Well, I'm also seeing a little bit here of Bernard trying to be like, okay, look, I'm smart. I'm going to tell you both of you what to do, right? Like I'm trying to seize control.
There's like a little bit of Bernard that's coming out here.
Yeah.
Crazy how that worked out.
Yeah.
Like I think as soon as Saba and Sia said the last sort of remark, it was sort of like nuanced enough of a discussion that like I loosened my grip on my sword a little bit, just in order to sort of like delve back into the mental gymnastics of how we perceive the like honor of our agreement. Not to like disengage, but anyway, the point is I think that was enough for me to be like sufficiently, I guess, open to words coming at me from someone else for a moment. So I think that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like set aside for now, but I feel like it's a thing.
If we actually like, are we going to roll on the persuasion? Because like, if it doesn't, I feel like if Bernard doesn't like satisfactorily like disengage us with that remark, then it's kind of like back to where we were standing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's up to you, right? Like you can just say like, oh, Bernard getting involved is enough. But if you think there's some question, we can have Bernard make that roll.
Bernard should definitely roll the dice.
Okay, Bernard's gonna fail real bad. Octavian is a willful motherfucker.
Like it's weird though because like I'm not in a position where I'm like against Bernard. Yeah. It's like a neutral thing. Like these are this.
Well, that's. I mean, all the question is Bernard. Is what Bernard says enough to get your attention off of your own concerns for like long enough to get you focused again, right?
Yeah.
And that's just your own innate like will. So, all right. So your intent. What's your intent here, Bernard? Your intent is to diffuse the argument and focus them back on.
Yeah.
On
exactly.
The
get them back focused on making a battle plan so we can do this thing.
Okay. All right. So do you have you unlocked persuasion, or are you still working on it?
I do have persuasion.
Right, you have it at like
actually,
2, right?
Yeah, it's at 2. It's really low.
Okay. All right. Well, do you have anything you want to fork?
Yeah, I'm not lying, so I can't fork falsehood.
Correct.
This isn't very philosophical. No, I really can't fork anything. We're not drinking.
No, you're not drinking.
And I'm not really instructing them. That's a skill-based thing. Yeah, no.
And you don't have soothing platitudes?
I actually don't. I haven't even unlocked it yet.
I've
been using persuasion whenever possible.
So, I mean, Gretelin, do you wanna help?
It's a tough question because Octavian basically told me to shut the hell up.
That's true.
And I'm a little intimidated by that.
Yeah, that's fair. He's a monster. He's a dangerous person.
Yeah, I don't think she says anything yet.
Okay. All right. So you can. Let's see. I'm just checking something real quick. You can fork astrology. You can fork astrology in this. It's not a physical test. So
okay.
You're definitely welcome to fork astrology if you want to take that risk. I'll get 2 rolls. We'll get you to roll against each character individually. Okay. So to convince Saba and Sia to chill the fuck out, it's ob 3.
All right.
Now, again, with astrology, you can roll your skill, roll persuasion, and then roll
Yeah.
like a separate d6 for the
Oh, so I don't
astrology
fork
die.
it in with a modifier?
Yeah, don't add a modifier because we have to check if it comes up.
That's right. I
special.
forgot. Sorry. Let me just redo that then. Okay.
Yeah.
So off 3. Great.
Up 3, yeah.
I got 1 success.
Okay, now also roll your astrology die. Then we can talk about fate.
Okay.
So just roll 1d6.
Great. Oh, I see. I gotcha.
Yeah, because it's just like you'd want a separately colored dice or something in real life. Okay, all right. So you've got 2 successes. Do you want to roll that 6? Do you want to spend fate?
I do.
Okay.
I want to try for it.
Okay.
Spend the fate points. And I failed.
Okay. All right. So mark that test. It's not challenging though. It's you because you rolled 3 dice technically.
Okay.
So it's a difficult test for persuasion.
Okay.
So mark your difficult test, and then God knows why. Roll it again because this is to convince Octavian. And so you've failed. Whatever you say falls on deaf ears. Sabencia doesn't hear you. Doesn't get distracted from the moment at hand.
Is it the same obstacle?
No, the obstacle is what 6. Colin, what's your will? Double check. Octavian's will is it is indeed 6.
All right. Let's roll that. Oh.
Yeah, and then roll your astrology die.
Okay. I
So-
had another.
Close. Like, for a moment there, it seemed like they might be listening to you. But yeah, like your plans to take center stage are thwarted. What does that look like, Octavian and Sabencia? Does one of you like storm out, or do you make a big scene? Like Bernard's not able to tear you away from whatever's going on. So what is it that stops that? How does that look?
So I'm like still gritting my teeth from the situation, and I think Bernard's words, like I understand that words are coming at me, but like none of them register or really care. But it's like kind of like a moment where it just like the extra information like headed my way is just like pushing me over the edge, and so I like turn and like I think I like just like rip my sword out of its sheath and like just like stab it into the table next to me.
Yep.
And then like start walking out. And I guess I shout something to Bernard, like, or I guess to the whole room, really. I just like, as I'm walking out, I'm like, I am going to tend the assembly of our forces. If you all know what's right and what's honorable, you will play a role as befits your obligations and your positions. Come find me.
Okay, and then you leave the tent.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that happens, so when you leave, what's the scene in the tent look like? There's, Octavian's sword trembling, buried an inch deep in the table. And then just like a sudden quiet as he leaves.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I make the roll to see how nice this thing I made is? Because I'm wondering if it will catch my eye.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you haven't like done anything with it yet, so it's like still just material. But once you're like, it's finished, that's when Gretelin will have to potentially make the test.
So tonight it's supposed to be ready. So presumably,
yeah,
I just want to like make the culminating of all of my work test.
Perfect. So what's the skill you're using?
So I'm using Weaving Way.
And that's a stand-in for.
It's a stand-in for weaving.
For weaving, okay.
Or for weaver, or whatever.
However this game handles that, yeah.
Here
we go.
And then let's see, forks. So I've got Either, I mean, I did the previous test to get all the materials, so I don't know if that counts as a link test where I get an advantage die now or not. But then I'm taking a long time to do it, which gets me an extra 2 dice. And I'm getting help from my daughter with her embroidery skill.
Yeah, let me check something here. Because weaving is making cloth out of stuff.
But you also use it to make like elven cloaks and stuff like that. You make with Weaving Way.
Yeah, weaving way is you combine it with Antiphon Union and 3 of the Chameleon to make it.
So it's like
cloak.
it's
Well,
not
there's
just
there's also
it's
threading.
weaving.
There's also threading chant, and threading chant acts like the sewing skill. So I'm checking the difference between the sewing skill and the weaving skill. So you don't do a lot of like sewing if you're making like a cloak or a scarf, right?
Yeah, it's mostly about
The
more
material.
like making a quilt than anything else.
Yeah. The sewing skill has obs for. Let me see. Yeah, linen, sashes, scarves, mending clothing, fashioning clothing. You're not making clothes. You're not making garments. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
more
like-
like a thing of fine cloth. Okay, just to be sure for like later,
Yeah.
like that's pretty much all you can make. You'd weave cloth out of it, and then you'd need the threading chant to actually make it like
So it into
clothing.
other stuff. Yeah. Cool.
Yep, that makes sense.
Can I forehand fealty wise? Because it's about making her seem regal.
Not really. I think in this case, it's just the pure like niceness of the thing itself. It would
Yeah.
look as good on a king as it would on a peasant, right? Like it's not like a king's cloak or whatever yet. That would take a little more like work.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can fork. You've got weaving way, and then you have help, right, from your
Yeah.
daughter. Okay.
And I'm taking a long time, which gets me an extra 2 dice.
Yes, yeah, you've been.
And then
doing it for a
does
while.
my previous test where I got all the materials count as a linked test?
No, it just allows you to weave
Okay,
the material. That was your gathering of the material, and then this is the like working the loom and doing all that.
Yeah, and what's my obstacle?
Your obstacle here is you're making what's the raw material? Because it's like making linen is ob 1, making wool cloth is ob 2, making cotton cloth is ob 3, and making like silk cloth is ob 4.
This is like a really rough weave of grasses and stuff. So it's more like it's pretty like coarse, simple in terms of its material composition. So I feel like it falls on the lower end of that scale, but it's supposed to be nice.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, let's say ob 2 then, because it's not just like burlap.
yeah, okay. On 2.
There
We
you
do
go.
it.
No problem. Cool. Okay. I feel like I don't know. This is up to Gretelin whether or not this is the kind of thing that would trigger it. Like I feel like. Yeah, I figure that's sort of your call because Gretelin's ideas of beauty are kind of up to her, right?
Mm-hmm. But anyways, we have this like really beautiful embroidered grass like mantle thing that we've made.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. So do you reveal it now, or are you gonna wait until later?
Well, so like everyone in the group gets to see it because we've just like finished it and we're holding it up in the light and like inspecting it and making sure everything's good.
Okay.
Anyone that wants to get involved and check it out can do so.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly the nicest thing that anyone in this like tribe would have been able to make. Like it surpasses anything any of their craftsmen could make. But whether a mantle of woven grass, fine and embroidered though it might be, whether that impresses a dwarf is up to Gretelin.
Well, I mean, I'm like crying into my sack at the moment.
Aw.
No one cared about the thing I made.
Isn't that the deep irony, right? They either care too much or not enough.
Yeah,
maybe
they
Saba.
didn't care enough. They weren't impressed by it, and they pushed me aside.
I think when Saba finishes up, she'll go over to Gretelin because they both have gifts for body.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of wants to put their heads together.
I look up at it kind of idly, and I note that I can tell that it's very finely made. Like cloth stuff doesn't really
Do it for you.
Yeah, not particularly, but I can tell that it's like really nice. So I'm just like, it's lovely. She'll love it.
And I like put out my hand towards the bag and say, "May I see?"
Oh, I hand it to you.
And I kind of like hold it, like I have the mantle over my arm, and I hold the mask up, like in kind of a like head position relative to it, and like kind of do some nodding and like tilt it in the light.
She smiles at that.
I think the two go well together. I hand it back to you.
I do too. Yes. Thank you.
Since you're still crying, I just like put a hand on your shoulder. Done well.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you.
We'll hear it from him. And I like look over my shoulder at Bernard.
Yeah, what are you doing, Bernard? Is
I
Bernard
am
trying to get the sword out of the table, or
No, I
I'm
want
going to
nothing.
need this, sir?
I don't want no touch swords. Swords are bad. Swords are for heathens, and meat-headed
So uncivilized.
kings. I am actually admiring the. Is it a cloak or
It's like a mantle.
Yeah.
mantle? I am admiring of the mantle. It's clearly beautiful work, and I think I actually give a nod of approval to Sava and Sia and say, "Oh, surely when our wonderful Lord rises to his rightful position, a mantle such as this for him would serve very well. Very well. I'm sure he would be very, very proud to receive it. Very pleased."
And I like lock eyes with you. This is for Rubati.
Indeed. Indeed, for surely a finer one. It would take a little longer for a king to wear. Probably use gold thread.
And I like glance
that's for
over at
later.
Gretelin to try to like read how she's reacting to Bernard's prattling.
Sorry. I'm like, I mean, I'm still quite tearful, but I'm like, yes, it's your body, yes. Yes, we need to armor body. That's all I meant to say. I didn't mean to that we need to armor body. It is best.
So then I look over.
Help us help Octavian.
Yes, we're all trying to help him. Sometimes he gets in the way of that. And I know that you see it too. I'm not calling into question his worth or your loyalty to him. But a good ruler can listen. You and I both know that.
Are you saying this to Bernard?
Yes, it's to Bernard.
Bernard is actually really pleased to hear you say this.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll flatter you all day.
The best rulers are the best listeners. It's simply a matter of finding the right tone to get the message in through the ears into the head.
It's where the messages go. They go in the ears.
There you go.
Ancient biological lessons from
I read about
Bernard.
many histories.
I've seen diagrams. Ideas flow in the form of sound
studied-
into the ear holes and into the heart area where they vibrate out as light inside the body. Science is very complicated. Don't ask any more questions, Dwarf.
And I do actually say to Sava and Sia, your counsel is wise and transposes well against my own. I feel we make a good balance. I would enjoy continuing to help Octavian with you nearby.
And perhaps you should let him know if you're better at getting through to him of this discussion, the essence of it.
I find it is best to lead him without him being aware of it.
Yes, I trust you.
Perhaps a gentler touch would be better.
I'm not as good at lying as you are.
Advisors do not lie. That would be unwise. Advisors simply thread the halter well to lead the horse to the best water source.
Wow.
Bernard, I've been alive a very long time. I've heard many excuses, all of them, in fact.
I have not been around so long, but I want to stay around.
Look, all I'm saying is that you have some skills which will be helpful in guiding Octavian to make good decisions. I ask that you not be shy in your use of them, for all of our sake, for his as well.
Well, we agree on one very important point, which is that I am really good at this.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, at least we both agree I'm really good at this thing I'm good at.
I just nod at that. I'm like, yes, indeed, yes.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's any kind of role here or whatever, but yeah, basically, so like, yo, go talk some sense into your homeboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like there's any resistance, so it doesn't sound like there's a test.
Yeah, we're best friends.
So, is the plan then to go? Are you going to go outside?
Yeah, I'll go after Octavian.
Okay. So Octavian, we will rewind a few seconds. So Octavian, when you went outside, most of the like crowd had begun to gather, and you see Rubati overseeing the standing of like it's her and a bunch of other like men and women who are like pushing this huge. I'd say it's like probably like 10 feet in. I remember it's like a 5-foot radius, like 10 feet from top to bottom. This big wooden wheel, this big 5-spoked wheel, and they're like standing it up on a platform that they've got cleared at the other end of this open area where people have started to gather. And so you're at one end, and you can see across this like crowd of people, the wheel is being like risen, and like I think when it comes up, we see it with like the setting sun behind it, casting all this like golden light in your direction, and the like shadows of the wheel kind of fall on you as you emerge from the tent, and like whispers among the crowd, like people start to like you hear your name, right, and it sounds funny because it's probably like for most of these people the only foreign word they know. So it's like pronounced a little strangely, and they're all like whispering your name and like kind of like looking at you. And they like part to make a path if you want to walk across to where Rubati is.
Yeah, I walk like super swiftly because I'm still like just super pissed off in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of like, walking through people whether they've made it away or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's probably somebody you like shove out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you make a clear path through and come over to this platform kind of area. It's like I guess they've just cleared the dirt and they've raised this wheel. And when you get there, you notice that the wheel is actually like lashed together on like dried like grasses. And there's some like sticks underneath it to like give it shape. And it seems to have been like soaked in something. There's like a faintly like I don't know, like there's a strange sort of smell in the air, like tar sort of smell. Mm-hmm. And when you approach, Rubati kind of like looks at it and then looks at you and grins, and her teeth kind of flash white in the waning light. And she says, "The faithful have come, Your Grace. The sun is setting. They'll all be here soon. We've prepared an offering." And she looks at the wheel, and you can see that she's dressed differently than she was before. Like she's changed her garb, and actually, as you look around, you notice that most of the people here are, they're dressed in like different clothing than they were before. They've crafted it from the same materials, like from grasses and stuff, but they're all much more covered up than they were before. And she has she's like a gold and like leather like choker that you don't know where she got it from, because they obviously haven't crafted it here. They don't have that kind of like that kind of material, and it's got a like a little gold like pendant kind of hanging down over her clavicle, and and she says if you wish to address them, many of them do not speak your language, but I will be sure your words are understood. Tell me what you wish to say to them, and I will make sure that they hear you.
I'm like, of course, but Rubati, what is this about? And I gesture to the wheel.
She says, it's many things, Your Grace. A sign for the people, a rallying beacon for their faith, and a fire so that the Lord will see us. The first of many.
It seems good then. You should know the Fire Clan are not people to waste fire through unnecessary means, but if it is the will of your people, and if it will inspire them to stand at my side, then fine, so be it. What must be done?
And she looks at you, and you can see again, like as the last sort of rays of light from the sun sort of set, and the colors go from that kind of like bright yellow orange to sort of the purple of the last bit of the sunset. You can see the light reflecting off of the like tears. She's got like tears in her eyes as she looks at you, and she says, I've long dreamed of this night. This is the beginning of something great, Your Grace. And she like, I think she like goes down to one knee and like puts her head down, and like puts her hands up to like take your hand.
I pause for a moment and sort of look around, and
people are starting to like turn their attention, waiting for like whatever it is that's going to happen, like whatever the show is.
I take her hand as I sort of mutter completely under my breath so she can't hear. Normally the offerings of conquered peoples bring me food on such befitting a night.
So yeah, if you put your hand out, like she takes your hand and she like she presses her lips to the back of your hand, and starts to stand, and she nods and she kind of says to you quietly, like so that everybody else doesn't hear. She says, "There will be plenty of time after the battle for spoils, my lord." And she turns, and the crowd is kind of like gathered, and she looks over to her side, and there's a man standing holding a like a torch. You know, there's smoke pouring off of it. And as the sun finally like dips behind the mountains, she says something to him in like their language, and we get the little subtitles that just say ignite the wheel. And she like touches the torch to the wheel, and immediately it just like goes up. It just like lights on fire, and it's a sudden intense like rush of heat. Like it's enough that like you can feel there's a like, you know, when a big bonfire gets lit, there's like a push of like air as the air gets displaced. So your hair like kind of blows in the breeze a little bit. Your like, you know, cape flutters. And the crowd immediately like it goes silent, and they're all like looking up at you. And I think this is when the three of you, Gretel and Saba and Bernard, when you emerge from the tent, you see only the silhouette of Rubati and Octavian standing with this like 10-foot tall wheel just aflame behind them, pouring smoke into the now night sky. So Octavian, she is looking to you. Everybody's looking to you she's going to translate for you. You tell her what you want to be said, and she's going to get the crowd fired up.
Okay. I think I have like a sort of, like capey kind of cloak over my armor. Mm-hmm. And when it got sort of blasted aside and sort of folded over itself, I sort of reach back and I sort of just get everything straight again. Yeah. Sure. And then, I'm just like, okay, Rubati, if you would, people of the Plainsfolk, I don't know, we've never established a name for this town, have we?
Well, the great thing here is too that like, you're Octavian, you're not like, you're good at giving military orders, but you don't have oratory, right? Like,
yeah,
you're going to be speaking, and then it's on her to make it sound good.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I say like weird things like that. I'm like, people of the Plainsfolk, hear me. And I don't know if you want me to like segment this.
I mean, you can just tell me if you want to, like what you say, if you want. And I want to know what the other three, like, are you all watching from the tent, or are you going to approach, or what do you do?
I want to be standing right behind Octavian.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I come up as well. So I got gifts.
Yep. We have offerings.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm just like, you have all known this to be coming for some time now, and you all know who I am. I am the bringer of peace and civility to your nation of barbarous and uncivilized practices.
Yeah, and so Rubati is like, I think it's hard to tell. Like, you obviously can't tell exactly how she's translating, but she's quite a bit like more like fiery than what you're saying. So like you're saying some stuff, and then she's doing a lot more of like shouting and like waving her arms and like she sounds like you can hear her voice like breaking. She's definitely delivering from the heart.
Can I understand what she's saying?
Yeah. So Octavian is like, I'm the bringer to your people or whatever. And she's saying like, she basically says, for new things to grow, there first must be fire. The Lord of Flame has sent us, the chosen one, and like points to Octavian. And he has come to cleanse your weakness. And they're like, there's like some cheering in the crowd, but she's timing it in a way that Octavian, like, it sounds like she's saying what you said, and they're getting excited about it, right? Like, I think Bernard, you're the only one who can really tell that she's not doing a direct translation. She's kind of playing both sides of the crowd, like keeping Octavian. She's not directly manipulating him, but she's saying things in a way that she knows these people will understand.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it because she's doing a good job of riling the crowd in our favor. But I am taking note of the fact that she's not being entirely honest right now.
Yep. Okay. So sorry, what else do you want to express here?
I think, well, I'll just also say, tonight is the hour in which your leader, Marta, will see reason in order for there to be progress in this town for your people.
So she says, Bernard, for too long, Marta has made us live in darkness. Tonight we burn away that dark.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and then I'm like, with your help, we will march upon Marta's quarters and confront her and justly remove her from her position of lax government.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
says she says by the glory of the fire god, we will tear Marta from her dark throne and throw her and her sorcerer into the dust.
Oh. Okay.
And then I'm kind of like, the reaction seems like a little bit extreme for what I just said, and I don't suspect like a bad translation or anything. I just like become kind of uncomfortable with addressing not trained military personnel.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of waver for a moment, and then I'm like, so you will be given your orders from commanding officers, who will in turn be commanded by your own Rubati. Follow me thus, and we shall bring peace and prosperity.
And she says she says Octavian is as a star fallen from heaven, and it is I who walk in his shadow. Follow me, and we will have glory this night.
Oh God.
And then I think like if you so she turns to you, Octavian, and she says, your people are ready. And she looks kind of across, like she kind of like notices for the first time that like Bernard and Gretelin and Saba are there.
Mm-hmm.
Do the three of you say or do anything?
Nope.
It's good a time as any. This is the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, do you want? I guess that's the question. Like, do you want to do it now, or is it like a more like, congratulations, you win. Here's your cool mask, and
Well, we've already won, right?
according to
Apparently, yeah.
her.
You can't just pose a ruler without having another one already ready. Otherwise, you get gross power back and stuff. You got to already be the king when.
Yeah, the king is dead. Long live the king. Well, so I guess my question is, do you wanna give her your gifts now?
Yeah, totes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what does that look like? Who does it first? What happens?
Gretelin's up first. Hey.
I try to like push myself behind Salvancia. I'm like,
And you just feel her hand and on your back, just like pushing you forward.
I very meekly stumble forward and take the iron mat. I think it was iron. No,
it's brass, I think.
Brass.
Yeah, because we talked about it
brass.
being all like fire reflective and stuff.
Right. The mask out of the sack, and I kneel to the ground before her, even though I'm already like way shorter than her anyway, and hold it out with my head down, and I just say, for your empowerment, so that you may inspire your troops and lead us to victory. A gift for you.
She glances at you, Octavian. What do you do? Like, it's just a beat where she looks at you like she's not sure how to react, or like she wants to give you an opportunity to kind of be like, yeah, go ahead, or like, no, don't touch that shit.
I nod in approval without saying anything.
Okay, so she reaches down to the mask and she takes it and looks at it, and we see her face, lit by the bright light of the fire, reflected in the surface of the mask, and she holds it and kind of looks at it quizzically. And she doesn't say anything to you, I don't think, Gretelin. Like she takes it and kind of like she's looking at it, certainly like she's examining it.
I remain kneeled before her,
Okay.
waiting for her to put it on.
Yeah, yeah. Like, okay. And then she looks at you, Sabencia.
Yeah, and I think I'm like walking towards her as well, holding this fancy thing.
Okay. What do you do?
People, how do you get through these kids these days? Yeah, I think she'll just say, these people need you. And if you are to guide them, you must look the part. And I like offer up the thing, or like I'll like put it on her instead of just like putting it in her.
Yeah, I mean, I think she once you go to show it to her, like she takes it so she can look at it. And so she has the mask in one hand and this beautiful like embroidered mantle in the other, and she looks at them and she turns to the crowd and she like holds them up over her head to show everyone, and then they can kind of see it, but like it's mostly her silhouette. And she says again, Bernard, I think you're the only one who can understand this like fully. But she says she says, see how our Lord, the God of Fire, has subjugated even these ancient races. They bestow on us gifts, their craft, an elven cloak, a mask of dwarven make. See how they kneel before us. And there's some like cheering, and she holds the gifts. And she turns, and as she's turning, she says, offerings for the fire god, and she like throws them into the fire. Yeah, just like throws them to the base of the wheel, and like the cloak ignites, and the mask starts to like melt and warp. And people are like cheering and like roaring in excitement. And
I chase after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you
I
gonna do?
shriek and run after where she threw it and try to like dig it out of the flames with
Pull it from
my
the
axe.
fire. Okay, so you're like using your axe to get at it. Okay. I don't think she doesn't react. She doesn't like. This is to the point, right, where she's like, watching. Everyone can see you kind of like throw yourself at it, and they're like, yes, that's right, like humans are great, and we just like take your gifts and throw them in the fire because that's what they belong. But she looks at you, Octavian, to see what you're doing.
Rubati looks at me?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got kind of like a stern, like, that was hard, but it had to be done kind of like face.
I have like a sort of wide-eyed look on my face, and I'm looking
Where's your
at
swag? What the fuck?
I'm looking at Gretelin, sort of like rummaging in the fire, sort of like with pity, but still like I'm sort of stern, and I'm not like moving to assist or act or anything. So looking at Rubati, I just eventually sort of turn my head up and lock eyes with her, and I guess I think I just nod, and I step down from the sort of platform and sort of walk back towards the tent.
Okay.
Like
I mean,
I'm
I
done
think
with the
they're ready for like they're ready for the riot now, right? Like a lot of them are armed. They have like spears and
Yeah,
stuff.
my goal is to like retrieve my sword, which is in a table.
I mean, I think someone just has it for you. Like,
Okay,
someone's
okay,
retrieved
great.
it. For
That's
you.
fine.
You turn. You're like, oh, I should get and you turn, and like someone is kneeling, like holding it out to you.
Awesome.
Someone is throwing it in the fire.
Yeah.
I smirk and I snatch it up, and then I turn and look towards the people. Just raise the sword.
Yeah, and so when you do that, Rubati, she's standing like behind you, and she puts her hands like on your head from behind, and I need to make a roll for her. Give me
Faith magic.
Yeah, she's using faith for sure. She is attempting to invoke a blessing from the fire god. And I'm going to give her some extra dice for the sacrifice of the goods of the lesser races. a symbol of their dominance.
I was genuinely like, do I kill her?
She's terrible, hey.
Do I kill her right? Like,
I mean, she's not. She just really wants, she just really wants the cause to go well.
Just manipulating her people. It's a perfectly normal thing to do.
Just let this simmer into like.
Okay,
Look,
so
the battle's going to be really chaotic.
After all.
Plenty of opportunity.
So she's gonna make an it's an ob 3 faith test for a blessing. It's gonna be a blessing on Octavian, and it'll grant a +1 to your steel for the duration of like the battle to come. She wants to bolster you with the power of the fire god. So ob 3, let's see how her faith holds out. Oh yeah, she's got lots of dice. Wicked. All right. So, yeah, the have you like the priesthood of the fire god, like the fire cult itself is so like new and like strange. Octavian, have you ever been like straight up like have you felt the touch of the fire god before, or is this new?
I've like had these sort of like uncanny inklings of this feeling in previous campaigns on the fringe, sort of established my like established I guess clan, but never such an overt sort of example of it. And now it's sort of like putting more of a name to it, and it's like dawning on me that like this is the same sort of thing that I've felt just in glance like previously.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So there's a brief moment, I think, that where you feel this sudden like lightness kind of like fill you, and you feel a sense of like intense purpose sort of flood through you. And we see externally, she puts her hands on the side of your head, and there's just for a moment this like halo of like perfect sort of golden light that sort of surmounts Octavian's like head and shoulders, and the crowd, the crowd looking up is like dumbstruck in sudden like religious awe at this scene, and you just know like somewhere in some library several thousand years from now, there's a giant oil painting of like of like Octavian with the like halo and the like savage priestess and like the dwarf weeping and kind of like there's this perfect sort of Last Supper tableau somewhere in the great distance, and I think that's with that tableau like that can bookend, and we'll grab a break here, and then we'll see the reality of the coup when we return. So stick around, everybody. More to come when we come back.